Tammy, are you going to be able to help me down the tip this Saturday? You wanted a load of stuff being dumped, didn't you?
This Saturday?
Yeah, it's supposed to be sunny, isn't it? Yeah, no, I could do with your help.
Yeah, totally, I'm free.
Oh,
I'm
brilliant.
not doing anything.
I've said something wrong, haven't I? Your mother had the same look on her face when I used to do this to her too. What is it? I feel I'm missing something quite big here. What are we doing?
This is wedding planning. This isn't a recipe book.
Does Rod know?
I hope he does.
You do know that the Liverpool are playing that day, don't you?
Just double check he knows what time. Oh yeah, he knows.
Was there anything you wanted me to do?
Turn up, walk me down the aisle, smile, cry a little bit. Just one tear though. We are British.
Yes, I know.
But don't give me that British stiff upper lip routine.
Should I bring anything?
Bonsais, actually.
You just tell me which ones you want. I'll get them prepped up.
Okay, well.
Hi, Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat. And do you know what? Today is going to be a bit special. And hopefully for those of you who've been part of my community for, well over 2 years now, of course you'll know who Tamara is. She's been part of the various bonsai challenges and pokes her head in and out. And I know I've shown pictures of her and Rod. So as you've probably guessed from the title and from that little intro, yes indeed there's a wedding and it's Saturday, May the 11th. This is probably coming out a week afterwards. So it was probably a great day. I was probably very, very drunk, made a fool of myself. I may even have been sick. No, seriously. She's decided she wanted some of my trees. I'm over the moon, a little bit worried, but we're going to have to prep them up. So in order to get these trees show worthy, probably the closest my trees are ever going to come to a show, I need to look through them, get weeds out, make sure they're looking tip top. Make sure there's no bugs, because really we don't want ninja spiders jumping onto people's food plates. You're going to get to see some pruning, certainly for this. There's 2 maples that I'll be doing my sort of post-flush hardened pruning for. So same principles that I do for any of the maples. And just make sure that they're not going to let me down, and certainly that, you know, Tammy and Rod are going to be really happy, and that the guests will be really happy with them. So, should we crack on?
Bonsai 1. I remember this growing up, so a lot of memory. Little fishing pond. Now this might be where the fags end up, actually.
Yeah, not putting fags.
Maybe don't put water in it, just to not confuse anyone.
Alright, so we'll get that one.
That one. Got 2 on here.
2?
Top table.
Yay, my lava rock.
That one's going to go between Rod and me.
Okay.
Because it's beautiful. Lava rock's amazing. And this one is another one on a table. With all the rock formation and roots and webs. Don't take the webs off, okay? They're really natural looking. And
we don't want spiders jumping onto people's meal.
Touching my food, strike 2.
Do you know, they might behave. They might think it's, you know, something you've done.
My ninja spiders.
The ninja spiders, exactly. This isn't weed killer, is it?
I can't remember what it is.
Well, it's on your tree now.
Oh dear, well, is that what? You want that one as well?
This one.
Okay, so that's 4.
We've got 4.
And how many do you need in total?
5.
Okay,
no,
so
more.
we've got
We need
1
6.
more.
We've got 2 for the top table.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 main tables. So table 1, table 2, table 3. So we've got 1 more for the top table, 1 more for the non-kids table. And for the final table, this one. Beautiful.
Is that my Vesuvian eruption disaster?
Yes.
Is that going to be on the top
rocks.
table?
It's not going to be on the top table. It's going to be on one of the main tables because we have got reserved the top table, the original, the founding bonsai of this empire.
And you don't want to have a volcanic eruption representing what your marriage will well be.
Thanks.
That's not funny.
This is going to be the main attraction. This will go between you and me on the top table.
Okay.
Because this, as I was walking through, actually picking these, I'd forgotten this was the starting bonsai. And I was looking around all these trees, 600, 700 trees, and I was like, oh, this one. This one is beautiful. And he goes, oh, that's my starting tree.
Do you know that you're responsible for making that? You actually broke one of the main branches with a ball.
Me?
Yeah.
No way.
At Maidstone.
Really? It's mine
Yeah.
then, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to bring the bugs and everything with it so we can have them jumping off the trees onto people's food?
Well, potentially.
Okay, well, I'll get them all sorted out for you and we'll get them to the venue on Friday. I'm glad one of us remembers a wedding. Now, I know that many of you will have seen me construct both the lava rock planting thing itself and also putting in the thyme bushes here. They've worked out really, really well. Need to clip them back. Baby bears, they're still there. There's got a few little weeds in there to get rid of. Just checking the rocks. I've noticed one of them is a little bit loose. They're fine. Got a little man there. But we just really want to neaten this up. As I say, get rid of these little bits of weeds without necessarily pulling apart the actual construction itself. Get rid of cobwebs, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, got to be very careful because what I don't want to do is end up lifting the moss that's there. And if there is any loose boulders, or boulders, they're not exactly boulders, are they? So I'm going to go around first of all and just continue to slowly do the painstakingly boring job pulling out weeds. We're not going to prune the thyme back yet. I'll do that last. Now, you know, these are still not anywhere near fully developed trees, so in terms of pruning back, all I'm looking to do is just neaten up. We've got a few crisp leaves, and you know, everyone knows that we've had a pretty good start to the spring. We've had quite a bit of sun, and in terms of extensions and growth, all I'm looking for is anywhere where we've extended beyond 2, and truthfully, here's looking nice. It's lovely the way it's coming out. I actually want it to look tidy but not overgrown. Probably the only area here hasn't developed as well. Loads of strength here, but this is still quite weak looking. It'd be good to get some more strength there. This is the one here on this side. More leaves have crisped off, so we'll probably have to remove a few of these without trying to detract too much from it. And again, this is probably a good tip anyway. Where you've got the cooked off parts of the leaves, you've got the choice. You can either remove the entire leaf, and if this wasn't going to be used as a centerpiece, I would actually probably remove all of these leaves back to the petioles, and that'll cause the second flush to come out. But in this instance, we want to keep some leaves so it actually looks decent. So I'm just going to remove the more obvious browned areas. Looking around here, we've got a few shoots that have come out beyond the profile. This one's the obvious one. And again, the reason why we are going to be pruning a little bit is we want to try and open this out so that the sun can actually get in, and means that the stuff that's closer in will get sunlight and also grow. So that's one of your purposes for doing pruning. I often take out of a pair of leaves, I might take off one of them so that's just overshadowing another one. You know, it can be quite random, so it's quite a cluttered chaos here. I don't want to denude it so much that the original design looks wrong or anything. You know what I'm trying to say. I want it to still look good for the wedding, so that means I need to have a good reasonable canopy cover. And then I'll probably see here where we've got, don't see, that's the first point. Then we've got another set of leaves, so we're going to cut back to that first. Here again, if you look where it is we've got 1, 2, and then that extends out. That's the first junction, so we're going to cut back to that first junction high up. And what that will do is to promote another set of buds to come out from there. You know, if we have a look here, this may well be the new front, I don't know. We've got this one here coming out, so it's a big long internode there, so we'll cut back to there and just have a nice sort of overhanging pad on that. Top one here, bit long, don't want that. Now, one of the other reasons we need to do sort of quite tight pruning is when you look in here, you get this massive amount of budding and growth from all different places. 1, 2, 3 from the same point there. You've got odd ones here, and you've actually got to get in there, get in close, and start deciding. Got little buds down here, one at the back. And you just got to examine and just try and get your junctions again. Same sort of principles always apply to 2. And get rid of little buds that you don't want growing in little crotch areas or underneath bends. And that just requires the pigeon behind me to stop flying, and just requires, you know, a lot of attention to detail and being thorough. The more buds you left in there that you don't want, the more energy is going to get directed to them, and that's a waste, bearing in mind what you want to achieve for your tree. Certainly high up in the tree I want to reduce the growth. What I want is the lower stuff to go zooming out, thickening, getting stronger. There we go, I've thinned it out a bit, light can get in there, resolved any issues with buds that I don't want, reduced 3s and 4 junctions to just the 2, kept enough canopy that it still looks attractive, and now really all I need to do is work my way around. I've still got a few more little weeds there that I want to get rid of, but I've got to have a look at this moss. And the way the thyme grows is beautifully, because I can literally just cut it back. I want to have it a little bit overgrown, but not enough that it loses, that it distracts from the trees themselves. So you can clearly see that it's growing, and it's really nice and easy as well. And to be fair, it's brilliant. First time I've worked with, you know, sort of having these sort of things growing, and it's something I'm definitely going to be looking at in the future. So around the actual tree here, I probably want to reduce the height there. And this is really personal taste, so I'm going to keep going around here, reduce these down, and then we'll come back and see what the finished product's like. Okay, well there it is. It's the next stage on for our lava and maple rock planting. And I must be honest, I love the contrasting colours. And I know some people weren't happy with brown bears, but you can't take the plastic animal out of me, you really can't. So we've got this juxtaposed position between a ceramic blue Chinaman mudman and a plastic brown bear, completely out of scale. But what else do you expect from the bonsai retreat? You know, that is the first of the bonsais prepped and ready. Right, well, we're going to have to get this ALA Japanese maple and his fisherman friend weeded, pruned back, light comes in. Just seen it and do exactly the same, so we'll come back in a minute. Is that the sound of cutting? I believe it is. Come back when it's done, shall we? Okay, well, here it is, half an hour later, completely thinned out.
Annoying.
And now it's ready for presentation. Looking really, really nice. Cleaned all around the roots, everything like that, opened them up, took a layer off the soil, took all the moss and stuff off. But that's looking great. But the only thing that needs to happen, get some WD-40 or oil just to polish up the pot. Next tree, I think, but I think we'll wait till after the drilling's finished. Well, we're back for this third tree, and everyone who's watched my channel or visited me or seen my website will know that this is my signature Japanese Larch. Started its journey in 2002, and if you want to hear more, well, the birds love it. If you want to see more of this one, then definitely have a look through my Japanese Larch playlist, because this features many, many times. It's been through the wars, and as you heard in the intro, Tammy was one of the people responsible for creating this design. In fact, somewhere around here, there was a lovely branch that went up that way, and it was either a football or it was a cricket ball. Either way, I think it was a cricket ball, because she swapped hands, switched hit, and hooked it straight to this branch. But anyway, enough of that. We don't need to do much to this. What we are actually going to do is deal with a bit of death. And if you come in closer, look, I'll show you. Yeah, just here. This entire branch structure, this one here, we've just got a little bit of life here. So these are dead, and I've got the choice to either remove them totally or to do a little bit of gin work on them, perhaps get the blowtorch on them. Just a bit of viewing pleasure, so whoever's at the table can enjoy the sense of age, which this tree certainly has. And I think this is another time to highlight why it is, certainly with our deciduous trees, that we always need to be looking back to newer, younger growth and recognising that we're going to have to regrow branches at some point, because they do die. It's a bit like me. Bits and pieces of my body are dying. They drop off. The only problem is I haven't got anything new that I can grow it with. Anyway, let's see what we're going to do in here, shall we? Let's get the blowtorch out, shall we? Let's creme brulee it. Obviously what I do want to do is protect that green that's there. I really don't want to cook my own fingers.
Scaredy cat.
Tell you what, I'll come back when I'm done because I've actually got to concentrate a bit on this. Really don't want to kill off the nice live stuff. Okay, well we've got a bit of a charcoal grill there. Not the most effective, definitely. You want to do this when it's live vein and then you brown it off. This just looks like it's been hit by lightning, who knows. Anyway, what I do have to do is have a look at the areas like here where we didn't get bud growth, we've just got sticks, but I definitely don't want any buds that come out. Now these haven't yet extended to the point where I'd be ready to do my first pruning. That's probably going to be another few weeks, so this is actually ideal right now. But we've got some things that I just want to have a look around. We've got some old nubs there I'll get rid of. If we look in close here, just directional, I've got what I want there is a bud there and there which I'd like to extend out. Just neaten it back there. This is extended, I'm going to let that go for now. In here, we've got an extension that I could have cut back earlier, so I'm just going to cut those top two off to let those grow out. To be fair, it's also just about making it look like a much nicer, tighter, compact profile for the wedding. Okay, I lied to you again. I said to you I was going to let these shoots continue to extend out, but actually this is all about designing a really beautiful feature for the top table. And hey, let's just take those back. It's not going to make any difference. All that'll happen is that I can't clearly see where the new buds are going to develop. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, then you've got to have a look at that video there, which talks about my specific pruning techniques to get the best out of your larch. But no, I'm pretty well going to leave this like that. I've got my little burny bit there. All I need to do is dress the soil. Now, you know me and moss, we don't like each other because the birds like it better. What I have found is the moss that got ripped off my silver birch a few weeks ago, and it's nice and green. I'm just going to dress around this just for the sake of the overall effect. Right, well, there it is. It is amazing. We all know, you put moss down, you put a little ceramic mudman, and it can make all the difference to a very ordinary tree. Hopefully this is going to go down well on the main table. Certainly I'm really happy with how this tree has developed over well over 20 years. Most of it accidental, but some of it due to a little bit of skill picked up with Bonsai Mirai, Ryan Neal. That's the viewing angle, so that's how it's going to be displayed. You know, not sure the burning bits are particularly effective, but I'll wait and see how that wears down, and who knows, I may well actually be able to take a bit more off that and whiten it or something. Or in the end, I could well just remove it. But yeah, so that is the main tree. Let's move on to another one. Okay, so we've got one of the two premium trees that I actually purchased looking like this. The only thing that I've done is, when I first got it, it was an absolute tangled mess like all Chinese elm, so I actually ruthlessly cut all the branches back and 3 years on we've got some sort of pad design, at least, or vague pad design. And as you know, last year got repotted as well for the first time. But now it's just about continuing to maintain it, recognising that sometimes we're going to have, like here, little branches that just die off, so we just cut them back. To be fair, the growth hasn't extended greatly, so I'm actually not going to take any of the growth off. I am literally just going to go around where we've got bits that have died, just get rid of those and make it nice and neat, so that anyone who's actually looking at the design will go wow, and not see loads of dead bits. So let me get on with that. If there's anything of note, I'll bring you back and show you. But again, this does highlight the thing I was talking about with deciduous. Here we've got whole branches that have just gone, so let's remove them, put a bit of cut paste on there, and hopefully, you never with these things, what we might get is some little shoots coming around the outside so that I can regrow something there. But we have to constantly be looking to reinvent our deciduous. Could be this little shoot just here, minor of no note, but that could actually be the future and replacement for this big branch here as stuff dies off. So you've always got to be looking for your potential replacements for these big branches. Okay, well, believe it or not, that took a good hour, and you probably can't see any difference whatsoever. Ages cleaning out cobwebs and rubbish that gets caught in those roots, quite a lot of little dead stubs, branches, and certainly the hardest bit was actually getting in there and trying to find all those dead twigs, little branches that had died off. And it's amazing when your eye zones in on them how many there can be. And you know, I want people to look at this and just see a 100% thriving, healthy tree, which will represent their marriage, of course. All the weeds have come off. And would I ever consider putting a mudman or anything down here, or rocks? No, I want all the eyes to be drawn to the tree itself. The feature is obviously the roots coming down over the rock. That's what draws your eye. We don't need any rocks or anything like that wasting our attention. So that's that one. Now I'm going to get the other one very much like that, and no, I think it's just one more after that. Well, there you go, there's the second one. Took me about half an hour, worked my way through. This one actually did have quite a lot of extensions, so you had 6 pairs of leaves, cut back to 2 or 3, just to tighten it in. You can see we've got a good view through here, so it's nicely opened up. I think the front's around about here. Again, got rid of all the cobwebs, took all the weeds off, and anywhere that could be distracting to the eye. So the main feature again with this is the actual root around the rocks. And again, this one I cut back very, very heavily when I first purchased it, so that I could redefine, regrow those secondary, tertiary branches. You know, it's got a very nice, tight, dense foliage mass, but you can also see through the different layers. That's how I like my bonsai. So that's another of the big ones, and very happy with it. Which I think just leaves us one more to look at. And it's one that I was a little bit surprised, and it's definitely in my development, but Tammy likes it, and that's my Etruscan Vesuvian eruption. So not much to do on that, so we'll quickly have a look at that, shall we? And there it is, and I think you saw it earlier this year when I just did a little bit of weeding. That's all I've got to do really here. A little bit of weeding, but what she liked is the feeling that it was trying to convey of, you know, an old Etruscan pot or urn rolled up on the slopes of Mount Vesuvius when it erupted. And because, you know, Vesuvius is famous for its Satsuki Azaleas, it just seemed natural to put this together. We've got our little turtles there, but you know, as far as bonsai go, or Penjing, this has miles to go. But what I'm hopeful for is as this develops higher and higher, at some point in 2 or 3 years time we are going to get absolutely loaded with great pink blooms, which is what comes from this one. So I'll clean this up. The pot is very, very rustic and old looking, which probably goes in with the keeping of the image I'm trying to convey. Alright, I lied just a weeny bit. Couldn't help it. It is going to be a display, so I want to try and get something in there. I put some moss around there. Obviously we've got little man here, and the tortoises are now coming towards me as though he's feeding them. Just to give a little bit of break between the yellow of the Kanuma, and I have just cut also all of these back, so we've basically at most got 3 shoots coming from them, some of them to 2. So that's opened them out, give them a bit of space, helps them develop for the future. And again, just a bit of fun, I've put some moss in the central point there. So I think with the front being around about there, it's not too bad for a development Penjing. Right, let's crack on and just see how they're going to be displayed then before we go to the actual event. Right, well, we're down the bottom of the garden with my new background, so you'll have to let me know how that is. We're going to look at this this maple there with a little Dumbo in there. But what I've got is I've bought just a base, cork base with a black cover on it, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to use the cork to act as a bit of a barrier for any water. I mean, this is probably going to be once only, so what I need to do is cut a template around this pot so that it sits on it, because that is then going to sit on what I call black slate placemat. So it's got lovely rubber rubber stoppers to keep it off the tablecloth, so it gets a separation. Then have this with the right shape on top of it, and then the tree will probably sit something like that. Now it's a wedding, so we're going to have loads of stuff all around it, and no, I'm not going to be setting up little kuzumunos or whatever to try and set it up as perfect. But hopefully that's going to, one, stop the tree draining water all over the white tablecloth, but just give it a nice little base to sit on. And here we go. Nothing complicated. I thought I might do it with a Stanley knife, but that was a bit dim for me really. What I've actually done, got the old little cutter saw out, roughly the inside shape of the pot, place it on there, so it's not totally visible, but again it lifts it a little bit off the tile and just, I think, neatens it up just a little bit, and I think keeps it nice in place. But if any remaining water from the morning water is still there, it'll just leak into the card and get soaked up there, and hopefully not go all over the tablecloth. So I'm going to do that with the other 5, and the next time you're going to see these, I think, is going to be when I've got them positioned on the tables for the wedding. So we all set up then?
We're all set up. We have specific trees for specific people. This is the elder table. Yeah. Wisdom, knowledge. So we have the oldest tree on table 3. The first, the only, and people on this table will recognise the tree. On table 2, we've got the fisherman. And the larch. Is it a larch?
Larch Japanese maple.
My bad. Japanese maple.
There
Talking point.
That's my lava rock.
Oh, of course, that's Vesuvius. Right. Lava rock. That's why I thought Vesuvius. You can understand confusion there. Beautiful piece. Lots for everyone to talk about. Lots of different characters on this table, different people. Table 1.
Table 1.
Table 1. Uno. This is Vesuvius. This is for people who probably may not appreciate. There'll be a couple of people, but most of them won't appreciate this, so they get that one.
So potentially this is the table for the argumentative eruptions.
That's correct. We don't want anything going wrong.
So what about the main?
The main event. We have this beauty. The tallest one.
Mm-hmm.
Sat in front of one of the tallest guys, so that's ideal. Now we move on, and we've got this beautiful flowering bonsai, the only bonsai that is flowering out the 600-700 you have. And it's a beauty, right between the bride and groom. Oh, lovely little conversation.
Because of course you'll be blooming too.
I will be.
You'll be blooming marvellous.
Blooming. And then we've got the twin, the big rock, and that's in front of Lexi.
Okay.
Impressive.
Lovely. So this counts as my first ever bonsai show.
It is.
That.
Double hook rather than just the single.
Wow.
Times it, please.
And then you go up the back.
Hello.
Look how gorgeous she is.
You've buttonhole that. Hello, got to fix the buttonhole.
Okay.
Bridesmaids, no work.
Yours is next.
Yeah. Dad in it also?
Yeah.
With this ring I thee wed.
With this ring I thee wed.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
You look after your wife, Rod. Don't be introverted, Alan. I might have a little bit of a joke sometimes. Every now and then I just sort of come out. I'm generally quite serious. I'm normally quite boring, to be honest. And you can see that if you watch my bonsai retreat on YouTube. You'll see just how boring I am. But and don't touch the trees either. Well, with the sun actually beaming down on my my slightly sunburnt forehead, I'll say thanks very much for taking the time to look. obviously there was actually quite a lot about preparing bonsai for a show, and I'm going to say now I had so many great comments from people who attended. But as I say, thank you again for watching. Regardless of the disaster that happened, both Tammy and Rod did end up having a fantastic day with loads of great guests and all sorts of things happening. Well, all that's left for me to do is to say thanks so much for being involved in the Bonsai Retreat and my family and just how things get on here in sunny Grantham. Wish you all the best, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.